let's kind of mingle around. I'm going to ask everybody to stand. We're not quite ready to start yet. Go and meet somebody you haven't talked to yet. Say hello. Tell them what you did this weekend. And then we're going to put everybody in this section close to the front. So find somebody, shake a hand, meet somebody, talk to somebody you haven't talked to before, and then we're going to find ourselves in this one section. Oh, this is awesome. I love this. So I see some people way in the back. I'm asking you to stand up, meet some new people. We're all going to sit closer to the front. There we go. Thanks. Woo! Yep. There we go. Love it. Right kind of where you see Jacob Graber, we're going to, everything from Jacob forward. Let's not get any, yeah, he's our back row. He's the back row. All right, fill all those chairs in. Love it. I'm feeling some energy. I will ask in 1 minute, what are some of the fun things that happened this weekend, and we're going to get some responses. Come on down. If you're on the back row, we actually want you to move as well. Yeah, there we go. We're filling in the front. All right. Somebody shout out one fun thing they did this weekend. Say what? Basketball camp. Yes, I bet that was fun. Yep, good. What's something else that was fun? Fun this weekend. She said yes. That is awesome. That one's going to be hard to top, but can anyone do it? No? One last one. A fun thing this weekend. Wow, no? I ate at Applebee's. Tim, what you got? Tim went, yeah, prison. Tim went to prison this weekend. Wow. That is something you can't top. Oh, I should. That's really awesome. A play in the prison. That's really great. Thank you, Tim. Thanks, everybody, for your comments. If you're just coming in, we're sitting in the front and we're sitting in this section. So don't go in the back. Here come the announcements. Attention all students that will graduate this spring. Caps, gowns, and graduation tickets are ready for you to pick up in the bookstore. If you have questions, ask Brandy Quinn. Next. SGA, that's our student government, is holding elections for their executive branch this week. Voting will open today, which is Monday, through Friday, and you can use the QR code on the screen to vote. Am I supposed to wait now for a little bit for them to do that? I don't. Or will it also be on, yeah, you got your QR code, there you go. Some are doing it, and I think that's great. Vote, absolutely. What? Will this QR code be sent in an email, Tana? Yeah. All right, we're moving on. Lark's Nest Cafe weekly special is dirty fries. Whoa, dirty fries for $5. It is French fries topped with crispy chicken pieces, barbecue sauce, ranch, cheese, and bacon bits. What could be better or more healthy? Next, I would like to serve. You can still sign up. You can still get a lot of extra credit points, CE points for that. Next. Wednesday night worship will be at the Kime basement at 9 p.m. Come hear student testimonies and worship together. Earn 5 CE points for attending. Next. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Starting the last Monday in April, there will be different events to bring awareness around this topic. More details to come, so be watching in your email. Next. But we do know a lot about Take Back the Night. I'm going to be there tomorrow night. This is an event for us to stand in unison to say we expect to feel safe on this campus, especially at night. This is part of Sexual Awareness Month. This event will happen on the evening of Tuesday, tomorrow night, April 29 at 8:45 p.m., starting at the Lark's Nest patio. Then we're going to march across campus, and you're invited to stay and hang out at the campfire and volleyball sand court. I know there will be candles involved. There'll be a beautiful candlelight celebration, so you're going to want to attend. Next, the end of the year is approaching. Dorms will close Sunday, May 18th at 4 p.m. At checkout, make sure your room is empty and your items are removed, you are present in person, and your key is returned. Next. First step, sign up for checkout time by scanning the QR codes on the posters. Schedule first with your RD, then if your RD is not available for the desired time, go by room location. Next. Next, pack up your room prior to your checkout time. There is storage available for returning students. Open storage times are in the storage posters. All trash should be emptied into the dumpster. This is not on the thing, but we goofed up, Tana and Gary and Eve and I. For those of you who want to get rid of stuff, we are doing 10-day give again. This Thursday night at 9 p.m., we're going to have a special meeting, and I'm making brownies for absolutely everybody. And we're going to have a lot of things to give to MCC, so don't put stuff in the dumpster. Put it in our 10-day give boxes starting May 9th. Faculty and staff, you can help me do this sorting, and we are going to help make the earth a cleaner place. Finally, before you check out time, vacuum your room, empty your wall of command strips, wipe out all the drawers, tops of drawers, and bottoms of closets. If you have any questions, reach out to Natalie and Jacob. And that's all we have for announcements. All right? I'd now like to ask Ken Rogers to come up with a very important introduction.
It was just a year ago at this time when a committee of persons related to Hesston College, members of the board of directors, constituent members, alumni, and two people from campus, Ben Miller, who is a staff representative, and myself, as a faculty representative, started a search committee for the 10th president of Hesston College. That person is Mark Landis, and today is his very first day on the job. So Mark is no stranger to Hesston College. He served here in administrative roles before as head of finance, working with development, admissions, overseeing a variety of different areas. He was there for 6 years before he and his wife Dee Dee and family moved to Columbia, South America for a time of service. And in the past 5 years, he has been back here in Hesston as market president for Citizens State Bank. In the fall, we will have a longer celebration during Alumni Weekend, the end of September, where we will have an inauguration and all kinds of festivities. But since this is his first day, we wanted to welcome him back to Hesston College and give just a bit of chance for him to say something. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Good to be here. I would have been okay if that was one of Michelle's announcements and we just raced right through it like that, but appreciate that, Ken. 3 hours into the role, so I'm not going to say a whole lot today. Probably today's not the time for me to share a whole lot anyway, and we have more important things to get on to today, but mainly just wanted to say I am really, really glad to be here. I feel like I know what here is, and I'm glad to be coming back here. Hesston College has a special mission. We've impacted in positive ways the lives of thousands of students here at Hesston College, and I'm looking forward to doing my part to see that continue and to ensure that we invest heavily in the student experience. So I know this semester is coming to an end, and this is kind of an interesting time to be coming into the role. I'm actually excited about that part because I'll hopefully get a chance to meet many people before we jump into summer. But for now, just wanted to let you all know that I'm glad to be here. Students, wishing you the best as you finish the school year. You'll be in our prayers to finish well. And yeah, I'm really just excited to be back at Hesston College. So thanks for the welcome, and looking forward to seeing you all more.
So hi, I'm Tim. Last week, a call went out for prayer for my daughter, and I think there might have been a miscommunication. This was my middle daughter, Emma. Some of you remember my oldest daughter, Abigail. She was up here speaking in the fall. She brought her little plastic heart, and she shared her testimony. This was about my middle daughter. She's 19 years old. She is intellectually disabled, and she's on the spectrum, and she has a heart of gold. And last week, health just kind of fell apart, and on Wednesday morning, the call went out for prayer. She went into respiratory failure, she went into septic shock, and things were just not looking very good. And I want to say thank you for the incredible support. You guys opened up the prayer room. As a campus, you overwhelmingly provided support, and you prayed faithfully. And you joined hundreds of people across the world who also were praying. And I wanted to come here today, and I wanted to tell you, Emma not only came through that event, but her recovery is miraculous. The doctors just can't believe it. Last night we moved her out of the ICU, back into the progressive ward. She's walking down the aisle, pulling her little oxygen down the, 2 days ago she couldn't even sit up. I want to encourage you, always pray. Prayer is powerful. The Bible mentions prayer 650 times. Thank you for praying for Emma. Thank you for your support. I'm convinced that she's alive because of it, and that changes the world. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for sharing with us about Emma, and thank you, Mark, for being here with us and taking on this leadership challenge and journey with Hesston College. So today we are talking a little bit about unity. Last week on Friday, those of you that were here and others came and had conversations about unity and what unity looks like. I talked on Friday about the difference between unity and uniformity. Unity is defined as the state of being united or joined as a whole, and uniformity is quite different. The state of being the same or in the same form, character, remaining the same in all cases and at all times is quite different. And at times we can think of ideas of uniformity when we hear the word unity, and that can really create difficulty in actual achieving of unity. Real unity can't happen if it requires people to change who they are or leave part of themselves out to belong. That belonging inherently requires that we embrace all of who you are and bring that to the table. That doesn't mean that there's not accountability. There is an important part of doing life together is being able to talk about hard things, to talk about the ways in which our actions or words are impacting one another and find ways to come back together. But we can't be working towards this idea of uniformity and ever think that we can achieve a goal of unity. And so we wanted to look into that a little bit more, and I want to share a little bit with you what you all had to say, what students had to say. You can go to the next slide. These are some of the phrases and themes that came up from the feedback I heard back of what unity is, what it feels like, what it means to you, that there's this acceptance of differences, connection, safety and trust, coming together, working together for a shared purpose, supporting each other, setting aside differences. And I also asked that you guys think about what builds unity up and what tears unity down. And so when we thought about building unity, these are the things that came up: openness and time together, tolerance, having a common good, kindness and curiosity, humility, finding common ground, reliability and communication and respect, that these are the types of ingredients that build unity. And we were looking both at where unity maybe already exists and in the development of new bonds between people, between groups of people. And I was just really struck by what you were sharing about Emma and prayer and the unifying impact of that. Last week, Tim sent out an email letting us know that there had been significant progress for Emma and people praying all over the world, and the ability to be unified with people you don't even know in a common goal and purpose can be really powerful through prayer, and as people of faith we can unify around things. And I think that is a common place where in community, especially in faith communities, we can do an incredible job of showing up when it really truly matters, when people are hurting and when they're struggling to show up for themselves. Also, I think we can forget to show up in the day-to-day moments, and there could be lots of folks that are struggling that don't open us up to let us know what we could be praying for them or how we could be supporting them. And in our day-to-day interactions, we have the power to build unity or tear unity down in the way we interact with one another. And so to experience miraculous healing in community is profound and powerful. And I want to encourage us not to forget that experience and not to forget the power of unity and uniting together in a common purpose when it matters, and in the day-to-day moments in showing up for each other and checking in. And so on the next slide, I put down some of the things that you guys shared, some of them very much the antithesis of what builds unity as threats to unity: miscommunication, lack of communication and poor communication, fear, selfishness, disrespect, assumptions, a lack of open-mindedness, cliques. A lot of this is this closed-off feeling, and fear being kind of central to a lot of those things when we have a fear of the unknown, when we don't know what we're going to be met with, or we're certain that we're going to be met with disagreement, or we don't think we understand one another. That can divide and cause us to isolate from one another. And then we're not speaking the truth. And you're experiencing the pain, the frustration, whatever exists for the other person without knowing the truth that lies underneath it, and without having any capacity to engage on a human level. If you interact with Jose at all, he talks a lot about kindness and curiosity, and I love that about Jose, and I love those concepts. And when we have interactions with folks that are confusing and we don't understand, at times we can get frustrated or angry and approach things in ways that tend to cause further relational harm and divide. But Jose likes to personify kindness and curiosity like your friends, and invite you to consider them walking through the door with you to look at a problem, to handle a situation, and what would they have to see as they're walking through that door with you? What would kindness and curiosity have to tell you about what's going on here, and how would they guide you through this process? And that kind of mental exercise, I think, is a really beautiful way to pause and consider unity in moments of disconnection, in moments of fear, and make an intentional choice to step out of these patterns of normal behavior, of fear, of frustration, of anger that will just lead to continued patterns of disunity and separation, and instead choose to get curious and have conversations to understand one another better. I want to encourage you right now to get into groups of like 2 or 3 max, right where you are. You don't need to move much. And I want you to think about a time in your time at Hesston College. Some of you are employees, some of you are students. All of you have been here at least a few months, I think, that you felt the most unifying experience that you can remember at Hesston College. A time where you felt maybe surprised by the unity experience that you were having, or just felt deeper into that experience of unity, something that felt maybe unusually unifying for you. And I also want you to think about moments where you felt disconnection, moments where you felt misunderstood and, not appreciated, not well, maybe you felt taken advantage of or overlooked, those kinds of things. And I want you to think of those 2 moments, maybe the most significantly dichotomous moments you can come up with in your mind, and then discuss in your groups of 2 or 3 the themes that are coming up around that. You don't need to talk about necessarily the stories of them, but what's coming up, what was present, what emotions were present, what circumstances were present in the moments that built unity, as well as the moments that felt really disconnecting. And so you're going to have about 5 minutes now in 2 or 3. Go. All right. As you wrap up, I would love if anyone wants to shout out for unity. What is circumstances, ingredients that were present in what you had going on? Lark Olympics.
Okay, sorry, I'm here now.
All right.
It's on.
Yeah, Lark Olympics brings us together in groups that are different than our normal cliques or extracurricular activity groups and that kind of thing. Who else? What's another ingredient or time, place, circumstance of unity experiences?
The cab event where we were all painting, a lot of different people came around and like we just made art together.
Making art together. Who else has a...
I would say the most unified I felt at Hesston was last year on the Bel Canto Spring Tour. One of my host people that housed us during that time had known my mom. And so it's just kind of a reminder of the connection that we have that's far-reaching, even past Hesston College community, Hesston as a town itself. Because I never anticipated that my mother would have that connection back to people that she'd really never met, and I felt very unified in having Belle and keeping her memory alive through music.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Jamie.
I wasn't here last year, but this year's Bell Tour was really impactful for me because I was growing with the choir people as well as having like my friends from the sports team, and I just felt so unified. I sound weird.
You do. Devin.
When we all helped with the Anabaptist game, I know we didn't all help, but lots of people helped with the Anabaptist game, and we got in different groups than we normally do, met a lot of different people, and a lot of us were involved in some like pretty emotional skits, and so just being able to connect with our Anabaptist history as a Mennonite college, and then with other people that we don't really know was really special for me.
Thanks, Devin. Does anyone have themes they saw in threats to unity that you'd like to share?
I think people hang out a lot with their teams, and it's hard for them to go out of their team, and all the people they know most is just they spend time training and eating and doing everything together. But it would be nice if people could get encouraged or just to go out of their team and get to know other people and sit with others. And that's like a threat because you spend all your year with your team and
Yeah.
everybody else you don't know.
Wonderful.
The idea of communication or lack of communication, or the idea of goals for the individual. Mitch, he brought up the idea of like selflessness and selfishness. And for me, like communication's always been like the make or break point for any group, any relationship, any friendship. Like if you can't communicate, usually something's gonna falter.
Well, thank you all for sharing and for engaging in this conversation. And I would like to encourage you to keep thinking about those things when none of this stuff happens by accident. You don't stumble upon an experience of unity. You work at that with intentionality and showing up every day and trying again when things are hard. And so I want to encourage you as we navigate the rest of this semester, that you find ways to look for where there are threats to unity in your experience and how you can influence those, and lean into the moments where unity is happening and help that grow. I think these experiences, when we have them, can be contagious in positive and negative ways. And so finding intentionality around that is my encouragement to you this week. Thank you. Michelle?
Thank you, Whitney. That is wonderful. Spontaneous me, I want us to form a circle around this whole thing, then I'll get in the middle, and we're going to do a special kind of unity prayer, and then we're done. Here we go. Circle up.